In a quaint village nestled at the edge of a vast forest, there lived a woodcutter with his wife and 2 children, Hansel and Gretel. Times were tough, and the family struggled to put food on the table. One particularly harsh winter, food became so scarce that the woodcutter and his wife could no longer bear the burden of feeding their children. One night, as the family sat around the meager dinner table, the woodcutter's wife proposed a plan. "We must take Hansel and Gretel deep into the forest and leave them there," she said. "There is simply not enough food for all of us to survive." The woodcutter was reluctant at first, but the thought of his children starving convinced him to agree to his wife's plan. The next morning, as the family set out into the forest, Hansel overheard his parents' conversation and devised a plan of his own. He secretly dropped a trail of white pebbles behind him, hoping they would lead them back home. Deep in the forest, the woodcutter led his children to a clearing and bid them farewell. Hansel and Gretel watched in horror as their father turned and disappeared into the trees, leaving them alone in the dark, foreboding forest. As night fell, Hansel and Gretel huddled together, the forest alive with strange sounds and eerie shadows. But Hansel's plan had worked, and they followed the trail of pebbles back home, much to the relief of their father. However, their stepmother was furious and vowed to find another way to rid herself of the children. Weeks passed, and the family's meager food supply dwindled further. One night, the stepmother's resolve hardened, and she convinced the woodcutter to take Hansel and Gretel even deeper into the forest, this time with no breadcrumbs to guide them. Lost and hungry, Hansel and Gretel stumbled upon a cottage made entirely of gingerbread and candy. Overjoyed, they began to feast on the sweet treats, unaware that the cottage belonged to a wicked witch. The witch, whose name was Helga, lured the children inside with promises of more food and warmth. But her intentions were sinister, and she captured Hansel, locking him in a cage while forcing Gretel to become her servant. Each day, Helga fed Hansel rich foods, hoping to fatten him up for her dinner. Meanwhile, Gretel was forced to do the witch's bidding, cleaning and cooking while enduring the witch's cruel taunts. But Gretel was clever and resourceful. She bided her time, waiting for the right moment to strike back. One day, when Helga was distracted, Gretel pushed her into the oven, where she met her fiery end. With the witch defeated, Hansel and Gretel escaped from the cottage and made their way back home, where they were greeted with tears of joy by their father. The stepmother had disappeared, never to be seen again. Hansel and Gretel's harrowing journey had changed them. They had faced unimaginable challenges and had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever. Together, they vowed to never again let anyone harm them or their family. And so, Hansel and Gretel's tale became legend, a story of survival, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between siblings. Their story served as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.